My wife had an affair 6 months into our marriage. Posted by Redco Trifle. If you like these stories and want to see more, please like and subscribe. I met my wife at school. We have been married for 11 years, and we have 2 young daughters. I recently discovered that my wife had an affair with her older boss. There were so many signs, but for some reason, I never put it all together, and now I can't believe how foolish I've been. I had no suspicion whatsoever initially. I honestly thought that she was not the type to have an affair. We were always close, open and intimate. Or at least I was, it seems. Early in our marriage, perhaps a year, maybe 2, my suspicion was raised when I found a note in her bag. It was written by her and was essentially a series of lines about how her boss made her feel special and that she never really found me attractive. There was nothing suggestive of an affair, but nevertheless, it was a shock to read. I confronted her. She was embarrassed and said it was a silly note and she meant nothing of it. She apologized, tore up the note and seemed genuinely sorry. I remember being angry but let it slide because of how genuinely sorry she seemed. I also remember a time when she told me her boss had his nipple pierced. I asked how she knew, and she told me he had shown it to them at work. A little odd, I thought, but again, at the time, I never gave it much consideration. Another time she mentioned to me that the house he was staying at had green walls. I asked her how she knew, and she said she had been there to pick him up or drop him off for work the odd time. Again, at the time, I thought little of it, perhaps because he was 12 or so years older than her. There was also a time when I found a condom in her purse. Perhaps not all that unusual for some, but she was on the pill, and we would very rarely use condoms. If we did, we were always intimate at home, and there would never be an occasion for a condom to be in her purse. I remember confronting her at the time. I can't remember the excuse she gave, but I must have dismissed it. She just brushed it off and over time, I forgot. I also remember a time when she developed a friendship with a customer from work. This woman was not the type of person I would expect my wife to be friends with. They were very different people. My wife started to go with her to the clubs and bars after work. Her work colleagues would go, including her boss, and she didn't want to miss out. I soon found out this friend was now in a relationship with my wife's boss. When my wife found out, she was in tears. She couldn't believe how this friend had lied to her. I remember thinking her reaction was odd. Why would she care if her boss had a girlfriend? It's got nothing to do with my wife. But now it makes sense. She was jealous. And then the bombshell. I can't recall why, but my wife needed to send an email. I remember her logging on and sending the mail, and she went to work shortly after. Later that day, I went onto the computer, and Google had kept her logged into her email. I had a look, rightly or wrongly, and searched for her boss's name. There were loads sent and received. I opened a few and read. They were suggestive, flirtatious and intimate. My blood boiled, and I called her straight away. In hindsight, this was a bad idea. I demanded she never come home. I told her I had seen the emails. She was sobbing. Naturally, she had been found out. I was in a rage and went back to the computer a little while later, and the emails had gone. She had deleted them all. I couldn't find anything. I know what I read was suggestive and wrong, but nothing in them made it obvious there was an actual affair happening. It seems crazy looking back, but when we finally talked about it, she said nothing had happened and that he had been nice to her, paid her some attention, and the emails were old and silly. Nothing happened or was happening. My problem was I doubted myself because I wasn't cool-headed. I flipped out when I should have composed myself. The emails showed a relationship, but I had no proof she actually had an affair. There was nothing clear in the emails, only suggestive. So life went on as normal. She came back, we moved house twice and had 2 beautiful children. I never fully trusted her. The whole situation messed me up mentally, and I've struggled with some depression since, but I move on or try and forget. So skip forward a little bit. She got a new phone and asked me to transfer her numbers and apps etc. I moved the apps over and asked her for login details for Instagram, Twitter, etc. I log into her Twitter and find in her sent messages and one message. It's old, like 8 or 9 years. Night baby, it reads. only it wasn't to me. I don't use Twitter, never have. It was to her boss. As she lay in bed with me all those years ago, she was sending this to her other man. This churned me up for days. I didn't speak of it, but one night I asked her if we could talk. I said, I knew, I bluffed, and if we are to have a future, she needs to tell me. So, finally, she confessed. 6 months into our marriage, she had an affair with her boss. Multiple times. It lasted for 3 or 4 months, and it stopped. From what I can gather, she got cold feet about leaving me, and he moved on. So, everything is slotted into place. The note, the piercing, the green walls, the condom and the emails. How could I be so dumb? I was very upset, devastated. Broken, you could say, but even though I had the signs, it was nothing like actually knowing. The woman I loved seemingly never wanted me. In my head, I am a compromise. Someone she's with not by choice but circumstance. It is 9+ years since the affair, and we have 2 children. Children I probably wouldn't have if I was certain before. I can't just chuck her out or leave. There is too much water under the bridge. I adore my kids and never wanted them to grow up in a broken home or loveless marriage, but I'm so hurt by what she did. I honestly don't know what the future will bring. We are together for now. As I said, it happened a long time ago, but I will never forget or forgive. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And now for the top comments. What did she say after confessing? Does she show regret or something? You should do a DNA test on her children. You shouldn't stay for your kids. You should get out of this. If you stay, your children will notice that they are not well and they will not be happy. Do you know if she had anything after that? Has she tried to fix something or try to change it? Well, you have to live with the fact now, as you yourself have said, it's water under the bridge. However, if you consider yourself someone with a spine, stand up and hire a lawyer. By the way, why would you listen to an internet stranger? It's your life, and you can continue to live it like a stepped-on piece of mat. Are you sure the kids are yours? She just fessed one of her affairs. Cheaters who have done it once build their confidence if they aren't caught. So, what makes you think there hasn't been another? What consequence has she faced by betraying you? How would life go from here on? How would she behave if you had done it? Ask for a hall pass for 4 months and see her reaction. Is she ready for true reconciliation? Is she remorseful? Is she ready to sign a postnup? Is she ready to confess to your family and friends about what she did? Ask these questions to her and yourself. Sorry man, I am being blunt, but for the love of God, why are you acting so weak? Where is your anger? Where is your manhood? Where is your sense of pride? Where are you? Alright, to be honest, it already sounds like a loveless marriage if it started with her cheating on you right at the beginning. And I agree, it sounds like you were plan B and her plan A. The boss ended the affair, she stuck with you to have a stable home life. I'm sorry you missed all the hints all these years, but the relationship should have ended when you found the note about how her boss makes her happy, and she doesn't find you attractive. That being said, staying together for the kids is crap. You will do more damage to them if they grow up in a home with parents that don't love or trust each other anymore. You know you don't trust her anymore, so if you stay together, it will lead to you being suspicious of her all time and lead to fights and arguments that they don't need to see. Better to separate now, fix yourselves and focus on being good co-parents to them. And really, she got away with cheating for 11 years. Can you honestly look back at your relationship and not think there might have been others? Once cheaters start and get away with it, just makes it easier to cheat again, and most do. Good luck moving ahead, you have some tough choices to deal with. And now for our next story. My boyfriend has been trying to meet up with chicks with dicks. Posted by affectionate_gold437. So, let's begin with he's been a lair since the beginning. I found him talking to his baby mama, then trying to pay some girl on Snap for sex, then on here. There are many comments he has made on trannies posts, giving away the city he lives in. Well, after finding the Snapchat thing, I about left, and I couldn't, only because I've grown so attached. It's only been a year and a half, but he was there my whole pregnancy and had been a dad to my daughter. I rely on his mother to watch her while we work, and if I left, I don't know how I would work my 10-hour days. He claimed his Reddit account got hacked, but it was obvious it was him because of his spelling mistakes. I'm not against anyone who's into that kind of thing, but I'm not, and I can't fathom being with him if he's into that kind of thing, plus the fact he's been cheating but now crying like a baby because I told him we were done. But when we are together, I can't stay mad, but when we are apart, I fracking hate him. I'm disgusted and embarrassed he did this to me. He told me he was going to propose for Christmas and to be ready. How can he just frack with my head like that? Why would you marry someone if you've been cheating since the beginning? We work together, I have to come to his house every night, so I can sleep with my baby as I work at 5 a.m. and don't have to wake her up at night to drive here. There's no getting away from him. He was everything I ever wanted and more. I just wanted to be enough for once. And now for the top comments. Man, I feel bad for your situation. The kid's the only thing that's tying you to him. As for me, he isn't worth it. Well, good luck. He might identify as your girlfriend. You should identify as single. It is not about whether you are enough or not, you are enough, but he does not respect you. What's your say on this? Do you have a similar story? Comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.